The Chicago White Sox lost to the Kansas City Royals 6-2 on Wednesday night. That's two losses in a row against the Royals. Lucas Giolito didn't have his best stuff, but he pitched 5 innings with minimal damage. Speaking of minimal damage, the White Sox offense was once again completely lifeless. Very few sparks, but the Sox go for the series win on Thursday with Vince Velasquez on the hill.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. I really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Boy, it is difficult to talk White Sox these days. I'm sure you find that with your friends, coworkers, other Sox fans. So I do appreciate you tuning in and passing this podcast along. It's tough for our Sox. They fall one game under 500. They do have a chance to win 3 of 5 in Kansas City on Thursday afternoon. Lucas Giolito was serviceable, but some defensive miscues, and Ryan Burr let the game slip away. And what is really going on with this White Sox team and their anemic offense? We talked a little bit on the episode yesterday on the Ozzie Guillen, Tim Anderson beef. I'm sure you read all about it on Wednesday. Tim Anderson tweeting out that he wasn't too happy with some of the comments Ozzie Guillen made with the fact that Tim Anderson didn't start in game 2, and why isn't Tony La Russa putting him out there? Basically, why isn't Tim Anderson playing every day or just about every day? And against the Royals, it would have been a good opportunity to stomp on the Royals, and we need Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson wasn't happy about those comments, deleted his tweet shortly after. And, I didn't think there was anything wrong with what Ozzie Guillen said. He's just calling it like it is, like he always has been. Tim Anderson wants to be the face of baseball, wants to be the face of the White Sox, and should be. How Tim Anderson goes is how the White Sox goes. We've been talking about it for a long time now, definitely a couple seasons. Ozzie Guillen just, said what he said. And you got to have some thick skin. And Frank and Ozzie got into it in the pregame on Wednesday. And, Frank telling Tim Anderson, you just got to get ready for some criticism. I think you're going to look back and think that was a mistake by popping your mouth off, so to speak, at Ozzie. Guillen had some great comments. Guillen said, look, hey, Tim, you're my favorite player. I love you. You are so valuable to this White Sox team. I defended you when you were making errors left and right. I defended you when you flipped off, the fans. But hey, you should have been playing, basically. He did not back down, which I loved. And, Tim Anderson, he responded in this game. He had some wonderful plays defensively, some challenging plays. And I don't know if you've noticed this, watching it, reading about it, going over highlights, however you consume the Sox games. But the more difficult the play is for Tim Anderson, the more easy it is. Sometimes the routine plays, I don't know if he has more time to think about it, is when the errant throw might come wide or when he might botch something. But he made some very athletic plays in the field. He had 3 hits and an RBI. So, he responded. But I love that they covered that and they addressed it in the pregame on NBC Sports Chicago, because it was a hot topic yesterday in the afternoon. In the post game, I don't know if you watched the post game or if you're just too sick about the game, but Frank and Ozzie saying, look, there needs to be some leaders that step up, and we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know if there are team meetings going on, player meetings happening, who's calling out who. But there needs to be a change of the approach, the mindset, change the game, whatever kind of catchphrase you want to say. Things just need to get completely flipped upside down right now. And I don't know, I don't know what's going to happen. They get back out there Thursday afternoon before, they're looking at a big weekend series in New York. State of the Sox, they are 18-19. Now chasing the Twins by 3.5 games. Sox lose 6-2 to the Royals. Yes, the Kansas City Royals. There really was not much offense to speak of at all. This game on Wednesday night was the 37th game, and in those 37 games, there have been 37 different lineups put out there. The numbers are out there. They talk about them on the telecast. They are in the, pregame, postgame. There are so many different numbers that have been compiled on how bad the White Sox offense is going and multiple aspects of the game. They are bottom of the barrel in so many categories. And is it the lineups, the approach, just another pathetic performance on Wednesday? Coming into the game, the White Sox were 4 for 18 with runners in scoring position. On Wednesday night, they were 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. 10 hits, 8 were singles, had a pair of doubles, and that's about it. They had opportunities throughout the game. Lots of hype in the pregame about Jose Abreu maybe starting to warm up. He came up to bat in the second inning. He led off, ripped a double down the line in left field. Abreu threw some leather in the game, too. Garcia was able to put a changeup into left field to score Abreu, and the Sox were up 1-0, which was a great sign, get an early lead. Fifth inning, first and third with 1 out. Greinke was at 74 pitches. He was starting to slow down a little bit. Tim Anderson up to bat, and he got an RBI single to right field. The game was tied at 2. Still more action in that inning. They could have piled on. First and second with 1 out for Moncada. He strikes out. Same situation for Robert. He strikes out. Greinke had that, not Cueto-like, but kind of had that hitch in his delivery. I mean, the changeup, the off-speed stuff, very deceptive. He was hiding the ball pretty well. I mean, he's a 19-year-old veteran, so talk about crafty. Greinke, definitely not the guy that we used to see in the mid-2000s. He kept the Sox off balance, and again, you don't need to do much, though, to fool this White Sox team offensively. There was some action in the 6th inning, bases loaded with 2 outs, and Vaughn grounds out. Wondering maybe where Andrew Vaughn was hitting. If you didn't see this, he was hitting in the 9th spot once again. Tony La Russa calling it that second leadoff guy. I don't know what you think about it, but I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Vaughn was one of the hottest hitters we had. Coming back from that injury, I get it. The hand might not be all the way there, but I don't see why he should be hitting in the 9th spot. But again, nobody's doing anything. Anderson led off the 7th with a single. Again, his 3rd of the game. Moncada flew out to the warning track. Robert struck out, and Abreu grounds out. Little something going on in the 8th inning. A double from Pollock, which was just the 2nd extra base hit of the game. And, of course, he was stranded. So 10 hits, not too bad, but 8 of them being singles. Hardly any walks at all once again, which could have made things a little bit different if they had more guys on the base paths. But I don't know what's going to change, if anything. You want to say, well, maybe some consistency. I would like to see a consistent lineup, just see what would happen for 3-4 games in a row. If guys can potentially find their groove, find their approach, be comfortable that way. I don't know, but something has got to give. Lucas Giolito had not pitched since May 10th, and I'm going to tell you why. Like Davis Martin on Tuesday, he definitely deserved better. More on that in a moment. Hey, imagine dipping your finger into that plastic tub of birthday cake frosting and then opening your eyes and realizing that it was only 150 calories and 16 grams of protein. That is what it's like to eat a birthday cake puff from Built. Folks, I did just receive a box of these amazing items, these birthday cake puffs. And truly, I have never had anything quite like them. They are delicious. They're great for maybe a pre-workout or a post-workout. They are available right now, but we can't promise they're going to be there tomorrow. So go to built.com. If you haven't tried the puffs, I'm going to let you in on a little secret because that is what friends do. A chocolate-covered marshmallow protein bar. Yeah, you heard me right. Delicious flavored marshmallow covered in 100% real chocolate. Make every day your birthday with Built's birthday cake puffs. Built has taken the delicious experience of biting into a fresh slice of birthday cake and robed it in 100% white chocolate and added sprinkles. With 150 calories, 16 grams of protein, and only 9 grams of sugar, this limited time flavor is an amazing option if you are looking for a healthy way to get flavor and variety in your day. All Built puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means with Built, you can eat healthy and actually enjoy doing it. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. Recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other network, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Starting pitching has been pretty good as of late. Last 5 games, not including Wednesday, the Sox had a 1.30 ERA in 27 2/3 innings pitched, 19 hits, 29 strikeouts with only 12 walks, and 0 home runs giving up in the last 5 games. As I said previously in the episode, Giolito just did not have his A stuff. Maybe it was like C+, B- if you wanted to grade it, but he battled. Lucas Giolito loaded the bases in the first inning after getting the first 2 outs. Ethan Katz came out for an early visit. He had a full count to Melendez and threw just an absolutely beautiful changeup low and outside for the strikeout. Giolito threw 23 pitches in the first inning. Fast forward to the 3rd inning. This is where things got a little bit of a problem for Giolito. Gave up a home run to Bobby Witt Jr. Giolito was at 84 pitches after 4 innings. Giolito went out for the 5th, and it was the 3rd time through the lineup for the Royals. Gets the first out. Benintendi got on, and then Witt Jr. came back up. Remember, he homered the last time he was up, got him to fly out, and Giolito got out of the inning. He did not have his better stuff, but that will happen for a starting pitcher. They will tell you more times than not they are not going to have their A+ stuff. No matter if it's maybe just a couple pitches they don't feel good about, just overall arm slot. There's so many things that could go wrong. And again, he hadn't pitched since May 10th, but he battled. I thought he was done maybe after the 4th inning. Came out there and got through the 5th, which was helpful for our bullpen. Final line for Giolito: 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, that 1 home run to Bobby Witt Jr., and he has got his ERA at 2.84. Not bad. Not a bad outing. He definitely deserved so much better offensively, but bullpen had some issues. Lopez came in after Giolito. I was praising Engels' defense on social media. Gordon Beckham was giving Adam Engel some positive comments as well. Just his approach when catching a fly ball, getting himself lined up in case he needs to throw out a runner that's potentially tagging. But with Lopez on the mound, Engel misplayed a ball in right field. He kind of was in between if he should let it bounce or dive, and he dove, and it didn't work out. Royals scored, added another with a sac fly. Royals were swinging the bat early on Lopez because it was fastball, fastball, fastball. Those were some of the issues for Ronaldo Lopez a few years ago, where he just wasn't mixing up his pitches or the speeds. He was just pumping it in, almost like he just kind of forgot he was out on the mound. Like it wasn't a bullpen session. He was actually in the game, and he had to mix things up a little bit. But, that was just one. It doesn't become a trend moving forward. He did come back in the 7th inning and did not allow anything, so that was a good sign. Burr in the 8th, though, he gave up a leadoff double, and then a 2-run home run from Melendez put the Kansas City Royals up 6-2, and that is how it stayed. Going back to Giolito again, he kind of was mixing up inning by inning, changeup slider. Didn't do much with the slider early on in the game, and then must have had a conversation in the dugout, and then felt better with it, and then went to it afterwards. You could tell, he just felt a little off. Hadn't pitched since May 10th, and hopefully he get this one out of his system. Again, not a bad outing. I mean, 2 earned runs in 5 innings, and if it wasn't for a couple things here and there, but the pitchers have to be so fine right now, not only starting pitching, but bullpen, because there's this fear that if I give up 1 or 2 runs, that's it. Our offense isn't scoring anything. I mean, Sox offense averaging like 3 and change, 3.2, 3.3. I mean, I can't keep track of it. It's a low number. And that plays with you psychologically as a pitcher, especially when a guy gets on second base. Wow, I can't let this guy score. A guy gets on third, like you're pressing a little bit. I've got to strike this guy out. I've got to get us in the dugout without giving up anything, because any run I give up is disastrous because we're not scoring runs. Hopefully that changes. 37 games with 37 different lineups. Now let's try some consistency. What can it hurt? Put a lineup out there that you really like and you feel confident about it. I don't know about Andrew Vaughn in the 9th spot. I would put him a little higher, maybe Engel in the 9th spot, but put out a consistent lineup. Maybe put it out on Thursday afternoon. And then for the Yankee series, try it for 3 straight days and see what happens. I'm curious. I'm wondering if players get a little bit comfortable. Like I like knowing that I'm going to be hitting 3rd or 5th or 7th day in and day out, and let players get into a groove. Just try it. Everything else we've tried and it has not worked. So let's try some consistency. We're going to talk a little bit about this previous offseason. The White Sox let Carlos Rodon walk during this past offseason, and Rick Hahn has shed some light on why that happened. More on that in a moment. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action of BetOnline, where the game starts. So I don't know if you signed up or if you've been getting these Scott Merkin White Sox beat newsletters that he's been sending. It feels like about every week. I don't know how necessarily I signed it up. I don't know if it was through something I did with the White Sox a while ago, but I enjoy them. They're fun, easy to read emails. He covers a few different topics, and this particular newsletter dropped just recently, and Scott Merkin had a conversation with Rick Hahn revolving around Carlos Rodon. The big issue that a lot of fans were wondering about, well, how come there wasn't a qualifying offer? Why didn't you go after Carlos Rodon? You just let him walk. Look at the season he's having in San Francisco. So this is what Hahn had to say, a couple quotes from him as he tries to explain this. This is Hahn here. Based on all the information we had at the time, we felt it was more prudent to continue to maintain the financial flexibility into the offseason, even if it was going to cost us the 80th pick in the draft, Hahn said. Didn't preclude us from revisiting signing Carlos from a different type of deal at some point. But at that point in time, given the potential economic commitment it was going to require, we preferred to maintain our flexibility, even though obviously we were forsaking a chance to get roughly the 80th pick in the draft. Nothing to do with not wanting draft picks or not appreciating the value of draft picks. It was just a part of the decision-making calculus at the time where flexibility was more important than the pick. Tough not to laugh through those quotes just because Hahn speak is so funny to me, how he just won't come out and just say it. They did not want to spend money on a premium arm. Maybe they had questions on the health, but the track record for the White Sox, they do not spend money on pitching. They just do not. And with all of that flexibility that he was talking about, that financial flexibility, the Sox used it to get Josh Harrison, Joe Kelly, and Johnny Cueto. And that's why Rick Hahn is being attacked so much based off of that offseason and other off seasons. You know, we get it. You wanted to save some money and you didn't go and do whatever you were going to do maybe with Rodon, but then what did you end up doing? Okay. What kind of off season did you have? And I guess it's because the Sox are 18-19 right now, and there's just no offense in sight. It's really easy to continue to pile on Rick Hahn. It's so frustrating. I don't have any more answers. You know, when I talk to other Sox fans or when other fans, you know, whether it's Cub fans or Guardians fans or Twins fans, and they're asking, what is going on with your White Sox? What's happening? I thought they were going to run away with the division. I mean, I don't know how else to say, you know, we just don't have any offense. I don't even want to give the injuries excuse anymore. I mean, with the lineup that we're putting out, we should be able to score runs. So I don't know. Check out those Scott Merkin newsletters. They're interesting. They've got some fun stuff in there. Thursday's a day game. Vince Velasquez goes for the Sox on Thursday. He had a rough outing the last time he threw. That was against the Yankees, of course. He went 5 innings, gave up 7 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. This season, Velasquez has a 2-3 record with an ERA of 5.53 and 25 strikeouts in 6 appearances. The Sox are going to face Carlos Hernandez for the Kansas City Royals. He's 0-3 with a 9.11 ERA. His last outing was a rough one in Colorado, where he went 4 innings and gave up 9 earned runs. So I don't know what to say, but if you can't score against Carlos Hernandez, you're going to be in some big, big problems heading into New York. Hopefully, folks, the Bats wake up. Thank you so much once again for making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast absolutely everywhere you find podcasts. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Appreciate you making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB with Paul Francis Sullivan. Just call him Sully. He brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'll recap the series finale with Kansas City and preview the big weekend series with the Yankees. Really appreciate you making Locked On White Sox your first listen. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.